Ivins,
Yep.
counselor in the first presidency, gave a conference talk in April 1928. And I just want to note the reason for this. The church had just purchased the property for the hill Cumorah.
Oh, fantastic! Right,
Yeah.
they bought it. They've taken good care of it. They put a statue up. They used to have these nice pageants there every year. I think it was called the Hill Cumorah pageant.
I wonder why they've done away with that.
I have no idea. Why do
Hmm.
you think?
Well, when you keep changing your ideas on what happens where, the pageants only become an entry point, a gateway drug into the messiness.
Or maybe President Nelson just doesn't like pageants.
Maybe. Or the word Mormon.
He was having a get off my lawn moment.
President Ivins gave this talk April 1928. And I don't want to read this either, but just note that he's talking about how they built the hill Cumorah, how it's of more than ordinary importance. He goes into detail about what all happened on that hill soon after the arrival of these people and the establishment upon this continent, Nephi and the son of Lehi. So they talk about making the plates and where they spent their time. And it becomes absolutely demonstrably obvious when you read this conference talk that President Ivins of the first presidency, speaking in general conference, absolutely lays out what everyone else in the audience also believes, which is that hill in New York is the hill Cumorah. They talk about buying the hill, and here they're talking about, I did go to the hill Shim, I did take up the records. And so anyway, it's just an entire conference talk about everything that happened on that hill Cumorah, including everything that's contained in the Book of Mormon.
And here it says in the hill Cumorah, it talks about them gathering together for that final battle, doesn't it?
Let's see here. Gathered in all our people in one land of Cumorah. Behold, I, Mormon, began to be old. This man at this time was past 70 years of age.
You know, it used to mean something when a member of the first presidency gave an address in general conference and it was published to the world by the church.
Yeah. These things are hard to find now, by the way. You can't just go on to LDS.org, or I'm sorry, churchofjesuschrist.org and find this talk anymore.
Nope. They stop at 1970.
But us lazy learners, we can find things that maybe other people aren't finding.
This entire episode is a demonstration of your laziness, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. All right. So that entire talk happened. Let me add this back up. You can go get that in the 98th annual conference, April 6th, 7th, and 8th of 1928, just after the church built the hill and that monument was put in. Cool little interesting fact, by the way, that monument used to face one direction. And then in order to give it more prominence to the public, they ended up turning the entire monument and facing in a different direction. I don't remember which it started and which it ended, but it was turned after its initial construction and dedication.
Really?
Just another lazy learner fact.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
This was a cool thing I found. This one took me about 2 days of constant research to locate. And the only thing I could find was there was an official church periodical that was sent to the Maori people, hat tip to Gina Colvin, the Maori people, and it was called The Messenger. And it only lasted a few years, but its last edition was 1 month before what I actually needed.
I think it says published by the presiding bishopric of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is a very important thing.
That was another interesting little blip in there that I did get to see. If you wait long enough, everything changes, doesn't it?
It is signed by F. Michael Watson, the secretary to the first presidency, but he sends the letter together with a copy of the original letter written by Brother Sparks back, not to Brother Sparks, of course, but to Brother Sparks, Bishop, because that's how we do things in the church. So this goes right along with Joseph Fielding Smith and Marky Peterson in the time period.
This is a cool thing because this is where we start to get to a different spot in the church's timeline where something begins to shift and move, but not quite yet.
See, it is dated October 16th, 1990.